How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. This is Broad City, Season 4, Episode 7, Florida. We going to Florida, everybody. That's going to be a hell of an episode. That's going to be absolutely crazy. I've been to Florida many times, but I have almost always been to just Disney World. And, you know, anytime you go outside of that area, Florida is a nightmare state. Primarily just because of the absolute amount of elderly people there. Like, Florida is elderly hell. But let's see. It's also, you know, where in Florida are they going to? It's very different place by place in Florida. Florida is fucking big. So yeah, let's see. If you want to get full length, check it out on the Patreon below for $4 a month. Okay, yeah, love this episode. Again, extremely relatable. I have gone down this rabbit hole myself many times it's extremely cheap to live in Florida. It's extremely nice in Florida. I also love the heat. Absolutely love the heat. So why would I not? Oh, right, it's because everybody there is fucking terrible and there's alligators everywhere and everybody's got a gun. And it's also, to be fair, the humidity is absolutely fucking terrible. Like, Las Vegas is actually really nice in terms of the heat because it's just like all pavement, so it's really dry heat, and that's been like probably my favorite place ever, simply just because of like how the heat was. Like, it was all dry heat, and that just felt like the nicest to me. I felt like a fucking lizard on a rock. I loved it. Florida, I hate the heat in Florida. The Florida heat is terrible, to be fair. I said all the heat, but the heat in Florida is terrible. It's humid as shit. It's just 90% water. It's terrible. It's bad. Would not recommend. And, like, I mean, the fact that it's also, like, summer for most of the entire year is honestly not great. It's not great. You want those seasons. And in any humid place, you got the bugs, the lizards, the just animals outside your door. The amount of times I've been in Florida and we've woken up and been like, well, we wanted to go out and get groceries or go to an amusement park or whatever, but we can't because there's just a fucking, like, hedgehog outside our door, or an armadillo outside our door, and we're, not sure what it's going to do to us, or just there's something outside our door and we don't know what animal that is. That's also happened. Yeah, lots of poisonous spiders, lots of poisonous snakes. Like, Florida has a lot of the same problems that Australia does in terms of, like, looking beautiful but being dangerous as hell. Also, as I said, not a queer in sight. You can go down to, like, Miami Beach, you can go down to the hottest beaches down there, and you ain't gonna find queers down there. It's all just, like, all straight people. It's the only place I've seen where there's, like, extremely popular beaches, but it's all just straight white people. And yeah, seeing their, like, slow transformation over into the Florida girl aesthetic, like, especially, like, the Florida mom aesthetic is great. Like, even, like, Alana has on, like, a pride little sun hat sort of thing at one point, but then that slowly gets phased out, and, like, just everything gets slowly phased out until they just look like the most generic Florida moms I've ever seen. Oh, the fucking tracksuits and everything. Oh, so good. I love Florida episodes. Like, I've seen a few sitcoms that have done the Florida episode, and it's so good because the aesthetic of Florida is very particular. I would say it's, like, very much so still the 90s. That's what Florida feels like. It's still the 90s, still the 80s even, I would say, even more so than the 90s, more 80s. But yeah, it's definitely, like, way back in an old decade sort of thing. Also, the orange trees and everything. I've actually, like, never seen something like that in Florida, but there's, like, that a lot where I live right now in Delaware. Like, you just go down the street and you'll see, a tree that has oranges. You can go pick an orange off it, eat it right off the tree. So nice. Love it. But the problem with that, again, making concessions anywhere you're living, where I'm living right now, it's nice like that. It's got some, foliage everywhere, big, fields and forests and whatnot, but, humid as fucking shit, bugs absolutely everywhere, poisonous snakes everywhere, so I can't really make that argument for Florida, because I gotta deal with that too. I also live in a neighborhood that has a, like, waterway access sort of thing. Not our house, but other houses. And so that's just, like, so much, like, beetles and water bugs that are just, like, right up in our house and in our neighborhood and shit. And, absolutely. You can't go outside for 5 seconds without getting bit all over. I absolutely hate it. Can't go outside. But yeah, it's nice to have, trees you can go and just pick something off and bite and stuff like that. But every store is 40 minutes away. Also, internet as well. Trying to get internet down here, like at the house I'm at right now. Fine, the house I used to be at, 20 kilobytes a second. Yep, kilobytes. Below megabyte, 20 kilobytes a second. That is, you have to sit there and wait for a fucking image to load. That's like old ass dial-up internet. It's bad. But yeah, so there's a lot of, again, you're making concessions wherever you're living. Wherever you're living, there's going to be, bad things one way or another. And it's really just like, what do you prefer? And I would definitely say, like, I would much rather live in New York over Florida. All my life I've lived in places where I have not had, like, easy immediate access to, like, big place. Like, a Walmart is the probably the best one. Like, how close am I to a Walmart? I have never lived more than 30 minutes away from a Walmart. Or sorry, I've never lived to where Walmart has been closer than 30 minutes away or whatever. And, like, that's very telling in our world. Like, Walmarts are fucking close to everything here. So, if I'm living about 30 minutes away from Walmart, that's pretty damn far. Like, I've never lived in, like, any kind of city-ish kind of area. It's always been suburbs. And especially, like, I don't like driving a lot. I would much prefer to ride my bike, and so if I can't ride my bike to somewhere, that's a disappointment, because, I could drive there, but who wants to fucking drive? So yeah, again, you're making concessions wherever you want to live, but I would much rather live in New York over Florida, if only just for the politics of it all and everything. Of like, and like that's not. There's also like the big misconception that like a lot of southern states are extremely racist and extremely like no one would ever want to live in the South in general. But Florida is a completely thing in and of itself. Most of the South is also, like, the vast majority of black people live in the South. The South is actually very, very diverse. It is also very, very racist, but it is also still very, very diverse. And so, like, just writing off those, entire states. But, like, Florida, again, can't just write off entire states, because there's always going to be a diversity of people living in the states. But for the most part, Florida is the whitest, the most Donald Trump land is really the best way to put it. So Florida that's why it gets made fun of the most. I mean, it also gets made fun of the most, so I'm surprised they didn't touch on, with its what is it, where most things have a, like, well, you can't make this news if it's this small of a thing. Or also, I believe they have, like, protection over, like, Florida has more protection over identities or something like that. But, the whole Florida man thing with Florida man does blah blah blah, and like, I don't remember what exactly it is, but there's something specific with the laws around how they do news that is different than most states, which is why it seems like Florida has insane crime. Like, one, way more, but also just, like, insanely weird crime. But it's like, no, most places do. It's just, not reported as much because of specific laws on how you can report that stuff. But yeah, I would definitely describe Florida. You know how, like, ants and a lot of animals have that thing of, like, oh, when they get really sick or they get too old and they know they're gonna die, they go to the death pit and they die, or they go to the death hole they've made to keep, like, disease and everything away from the rest of the colony or the rest of the animal group or whatever. That's what Florida feels like. That's exactly what Florida feels like for the human race, and for America specifically. It feels like all the old people, when they get old enough, they know, let's go to Florida and we'll just be there and be miserable and angry and die. It is just the death pit of America. But yeah, we have other, B-plots, such as, like, fighting over the ring, which, again, I have been in this, like, I haven't been one of these two people, but I've been in the room while people have been fighting over jewelry, or an antique, or a couch, or a whatever from a deceased relative, or whatever, and it's terrible, seeing them fight over material possessions like that. It's so, like, come on, man, our family member just died. And now, to be fair, most of the time, I don't really fucking know my extended family whatsoever, so it's never really affected me in that regard. But still, I don't know the person, but it's still like, come on, this is somebody who's died. I don't really know who the fuck they are, because I'm just a kid, but... It is weird, like, a lot of that stuff that I relate to is, like, as a kid, just because I don't really have any extended family anymore. Like, I mean, I do, I just don't talk to them at all. Like, it is my immediate family or nobody. Like, even my grandparents I don't talk to or, acknowledge in any way whatsoever, because, I mean, they're just racist pieces of shit. Why most people in my family are, old white people, so they're gonna be racist as shit. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about you. Why would I give a fuck about you? So really nobody in my family I talk to or interact with at all, aside from my immediate family once I turned like 15. Elliot had such a small plot. Like, it wasn't even really a plot. He was just kind of also here this episode. But I do, like, again, he's the most relatable to me and everything like that. Like, again, just that absolute, like, sweaty gay, just stressing over everything. Him trying on clothes while also on the phone, just like, fuck you, and then looking in the mirror at how he looks. I relate to it so much. I love it. Getting a whole new wardrobe out of this must have been really nice. That is something I do love, is like, someone giving away a fuckload of clothes and me being like, ooh, a new wardrobe time. Especially, when it's not a dude giving away their wardrobe and it's like, what am I gonna get out of this? 2 black t-shirts and a pair of fucking jeans? No, thank you. Like, but yeah, whenever it's like, some woman giving away clothes, I'm like, ooh, gonna get myself a shitload of good stuff from this. To be also, like, jeans, I have not worn jeans in, like, probably since I was 15 as well, I'm realizing. I don't know why I just made that realization, but yeah, like, I haven't worn jeans in, I could not tell you. I mean, I'm sure I've worn jeans once or twice, for some reason, but yeah, like, never consciously. I have not owned a pair of jeans in long time. It's gonna get up to a decade soon. Yeah, having to, like, just talk around the dinner table, smoking some weed and, relating to each other and everything like that after, like, a whole stressful time. Definitely relate a lot to that as well. That is, something I'm glad I can share with my immediate family. Like, yeah, that is a nice feeling to de-stress after all that. Weed definitely helps that a lot. Also, again, Elliot's outfits in this episode were impeccable. His earring there at the end looks so funny. Like, the earring and the giant mafia gold chain while wearing the Florida sweatsuit that's, like, open like a mafia member with all his chest hair out. I don't know why it looks so good. He looks like such a, like, fabulous mafioso. I love it. And yeah, so now Abby and Lincoln seemingly, making up. I mean, that was a very, like, meet cute moment again. So maybe they're trying to, start over and do it fresh. I said before, like, I can't believe she's still hung up on him, but, like, I mean, in a, like, show writing sense, just the fact that, like, we've been going on this for a while now. But, yeah, I do like this, actually. Like, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but I'm up for this. I like the idea of this. And yeah, well, once we saw that black couple in the open house, and I was like, oh boy, I can see her. I wish I said something earlier, but I was like, man, I can see where we're going here. This is not going to end well. Didn't know it was going to be that bad. I honestly did not realize she was going to say that. Like, Jesus Christ. But again, it's Florida. Not that surprised. Florida is fucking terrible. But okay, I think that's it for this episode. I will see you guys for the next episode. Until then, get the fuck out of here.